Yeah, sure. I'm Fran Johnson. I'm Associate Director at Alliance Manchester Business School. I support our MBA programmes, both our global programme, mainly I support Dubai and Manchester, and then our full-time MBA programme as well. Prior to coming to the school, I worked for about 20 years in different roles as a systems analyst, business analyst, consultant in the City of London, and then for one of the Big Four. And actually, I'm an alumni from our school as well, so if you cut me, I bleed purple. I love our business school. So does the MBA market still have a long way to go in attracting female candidates? I think the main thing that I found when researching and looking into this presentation was that actually once we get candidates to talk to us and they understand the value of an MBA, that it's actually quite I wouldn't say an easy sell, but it's something that we can really attract women to come into and do their education. The difficulty that I'm finding, and one of the things that I was hoping, the MBA audience could help me address, is the routes to market. So how do I start speaking to those women at 26, 27, 28 before they're even really thinking that the MBA may be for them? So for me, as an industry, I think we do a brilliant job of providing an excellent education, and that I certainly know from my own experience, the women on my MBA thrive and really enjoy the experience, but it's getting to those women before they even realise they want to do an MBA, and that's, I think, where our biggest challenge is. I think that links back into the earlier point, really. I mean, one of the things that we're doing with our Women in Business Club is starting to speak to schools and employers. So we're speaking to potentially excellent women candidates when they're 16, 17, 18, 19 and telling them about postgraduate and MBA education, where in the local community we're speaking to employers about the value of the MBA. And that's not just so that they hire our MBAs, but also so they recognise that within their business there is a value for that qualification. So I think there's a lot that each of us can do individually to actually promote that, both within our own communities and our wider alumni network as well. But I also, again, I'd look to Amber as well for that type of support when it comes to lobbying companies to say, okay, you need this type of skill set in your organisation, so encourage your women to attend and start seeing the value out of their business education. Again, I think rankings was a session at this conference, and it's ever thus. We always discuss the rankings. I do think for me, one of the challenges, again, looking at this, is not so much the rankings, but a woman's perception of the return on investment. So, as I said in my presentation, we often say, especially on my programme, that it's peer-to-peer learning. So we're looking for individuals that have got significant work experience. So as a woman, you're in the workplace for 7 or 8 years, building up your experience, concentration on your career. You come and do your MBA, you exit probably at the age 30, 31. And at that time you are starting potentially to think of having a family. Lots of my women students already have families and join us, and that doesn't preclude you from doing an MBA. But often it's that time when you do think, okay, it's that change of my career, now's the time to have that family. So my women candidates do then go on and be incredibly successful, but perhaps not within that strict 3-year time frame. So I think when you're looking at rankings, that could be the issue. The other issue is more systemic. If you're looking at a return on investment as a woman, you're still faced by being paid 14% less than a man for the same job. Your return on investment is obviously going to be lower yourself. So I don't blame the rankings. And also, I would say I don't like the argument when it's almost like, well, women will do the MBA for the softer reasons. Actually, I paid a lot for my education. I want to get a return on that investment too. I think I don't think there's ever something as too much talk, really. Actually, somebody said a really odd thing to me that, by even talking about this, we're highlighting it as an issue. And I think, well, that's because it is. There are challenges. I put a set of figures out there that show there are still challenges for women in the workplace getting to the same level as in roles as men, even if they are as capable or more than capable. I think one of the things that certainly I've been guilty of when I look at my women alumni is, as I said in the presentation, is putting them on a pedestal as if they're something amazing and that other people can't achieve it. And that, in a way, may be putting off women candidates because they look at these 1 or 2 women that we put on these high as if they're unachievable targets. They're not. There are lots of male MBAs that are running small businesses and doing very well, thank you very much. They're not all CEOs of big organisations, so we shouldn't present every woman MBA as being a CEO of a major organisation. You can have a brilliant business career and not reach the heady heights that we seem to say that every woman MBA must. So I think there's this thing about to do an MBA will make you successful in business, but success in business looks at lots of different things and at lots of different levels. You don't have to be a global CEO to benefit from an MBA. because there's fewer of us taking MBAs, there will naturally be fewer of us that make those senior positions. So it is seen as this, when you do make it, it comes back to that point of you must be unique. So I think we may put pressure on ourselves to do that. I don't really know. I hadn't really thought about that question in much detail. I think as a woman MBA, you're taking more of a financial risk if you look at the return on investments than potentially some of your male peers. So perhaps, and it is still a male-dominated environment, so perhaps you do feel that you're representing womanhood in some way and have to push yourself forward. Don't quote that answer because I haven't really thought about it. Yes, it is completely inappropriate to distinguish between the genders. So let's pay women exactly the same. Let's give women exactly the same. When you've got the debate, I think, again, I touched upon it in the presentation, that it's taken us a long time, and I think it's an industry, not just in our school, for women in business clubs to not feel apologetic, to not feel that they're looking for a special platform as being a woman. They're not. They're looking for an equal platform. So as soon as that equal platform is there, women in business clubs can disappear. So again, I think we're almost saying there isn't an issue, and there actually is. And once that issue has gone, then of course it will be completely inappropriate to look at us differently. But at the moment, unfortunately, the workplace still does.